says I'm mine. Let's hope it all works out. Hey, Marvin. Hmm. Okay. Had to figure something out there. I hope that's muting the mic rather than having me cough into it. I have no idea what the sound levels are like. A brand new headset going on, so Oops. Hey, Rob, can you hear me? You're the first person to actually chime in, and I got a new headset going on. Cool. It's the same brand, so I figured everything would work fine, but you never know. Yes, this is a Brett Booth pit. I subscribe to his Patreon, and this is one of the ones that he had up. Thanks, man. Here, let me pick it up a little closer to the camera and get a better look at what I've got going on. Yeah, in fact, I think somebody sent you Backlash. What was it 14? I don't know. I don't know. I'm high. It was 30 years ago. I don't remember what issue numbers. I remember there's a wraparound cover. I think it's issue 12. Um, and big red wraparound cover. Maybe it's 12 or 13. I forget which. And then I inked 14, which I think somebody sent you because you held it up. It was like in a box of stuff that somebody sent you to go through. Hey, thanks, Duck Bacon. I appreciate it. Testing out new patches that I got from Kuretaka. Kuretaka 7 and 8 fountain brushes. That's the 7. That's the 8. Same thing, just different color. This one's very brushy. And this one is more like a very flexible micron, I guess. I did all this background stuff over here with this one. But then as I started getting into the figure and wanted something a little more organic, I got into the brushier one a little bit. Yeah, I was lucky enough to work with Brett back in the day. I enjoyed inking Brett quite a bit because his stuff uh, reminded me of John Burns. And I'm a big John Byrne fan, so when I saw that, I was like, "Oh hell yeah, I know, I know just what I think he wants with that." Um, and I worked with Brett a little bit on and off. I think that more ended because Brett's really fast, and I am not, and certainly was not back then. Yeah, Rob, the issue before the one that you have is the one with the wraparound cover. Flexible Micron sounds like a dream. Yeah, we would definitely be in a better place, in a different place without Bernie, in a better place. Oh, geez. Sorry, I had a funeral recently going on that I went to, and you hear a lot about that. The world was a better place for him, or. Anyway, I think the world has benefited from the influence of John Byrne, so I'm a fan. I think that's safe. I've never met him. Hey, Duck Bacon, I was looking at some stuff that you submitted over on Kara a few days back, and I was thinking, man, I should see if he's interested in a collaboration. Like digital, of course. I can't see well enough to do it this way. Right on. Um, Message me. Like you got my Instagram, right? Message me over there, and we'll exchange emails and stuff, and we'll put something together. I'd like to stay warm. And I think some of the stuff that you've been doing is really cool over there. I'm like, you work with Procreate, right? You're rocking a Mac? Because I've never messed with that. I've seen people do it. Right on. Cool. Maybe one of these days I'll take the plunge. I tell you what, if Windows 11 keeps acting like a fool the way it has been, I may be sooner rather than later making the leap. Oh, you know what? I might even move to Linux, Unix, something like that. Well, hell, I might just go back to paper. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Whatever keeps your hand moving and keeps you drawing. Yeah. As soon as I think I'm in love with one thing, I wind up doing something else. So, been a long time since I inked bread. I'll tell you one thing on inking analog like this. I will say I have a key set to where I can flip back and forth in Clip Studio Paint. So it like flips the image so that you can make the line in the most comfortable direction that you want to for any kind of line. And then you go back to working analog like this, and you're not able to do that. So you have to, it's not exactly comfortable for my hand to make the line this way. What kind of line do I get if I go that way? And so I miss the ability to flip, and I certainly miss the undo. Although not as much now with these brushes because I'm not getting as much stuff that I hate. I will wind up scanning this when I'm done with it and putting it up in my gallery over on Kara. I won't submit it to DeviantArt anymore because they're using user data to scrape it to use for their AI. I no longer trust them to submit things there. You found your Teen 7 miniseries. A pinup that I inked. Yeah, I was I did pinups. That's the first thing that they would start you out on. You would start out on like pinups and trading cards, and that's where you would get all those like swimsuit issues and source books and stuff like that. They would generate that material sort of as their training ground, and then they would move you to backup features and then on to your own stuff eventually. At least that was the usual progression, which was cool because, you know, pinups could be pretty easy money and to work with a lot of names that you wouldn't normally get to work with, too, you know. I didn't get to ink any issues of anything over Jim Lee, but I did get to ink a trading card, you know, which in the grand scheme of things is landing. People are like, oh, it's just a trading card. But I'm like, yeah, but lots of guys out there wish they could ink Jim Lee. Never got to. So I thought it was pretty cool. I was scared to death every time I did it. Wetworks 20. Oh, see, Wetworks 20. That was that one that, if I'm remembering right, I think that's the one where I inked Jason Johnson. Is that I don't know. You may not have it right in front of you when you say you just looked at it. Yeah. Anyway, I think that was Jason Johnson, and um, uh, yeah, basically, that was the first time I'd ever inked a job with a brush. So that was an amazing experience for me. It's the first time I'd ever picked up a Raphael number two. Yeah, Rob, I did ink those Jim Lee pencils directly over the for real pencils because getting blue lines printed back in those days was still kind of an expensive deal, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, foolishly, Jim gave that to me to ink at my request. I was really sorry I did that once I realized how deep I'd stepped in it. Uh, I guess I think there. I guess I had been working there for about a year, and I felt like I was ready. And I don't think I did a bad job. It just wasn't a great job. You know, I'm not ashamed of it. But yeah, I ink directly over the pencils on the trading card, and directly over the pencils. The times that I inked J. Scott Campbell, yeah, all that stuff is right on the pencils. They didn't even have blue lines going on really. Like they had blue lines that they would make up of different textures and stuff that they would send out to people to ink as like samples, which I think I've got one of those around. And that was just like a piece of board, and you'd have a panel here, a piece of a panel here, a piece of a panel here, a piece of a panel here, and it would cover like they wanted to see the way you did smoke, and they want to see the way that you ink stone and rock textures like this, and the way how do you handle hair and things like that. But yeah, uh, they didn't even really have any blue lines to work with back in the Wildstorm days. I didn't see any blue lines happening in a way until I started working with blue lines when I would have clients begin to insist because they don't want to pay to ship the stuff. You know, they don't want to pay to ship it to me. They don't want to pay for me to ship it to them. No, we're just gonna do it this way from now on. It doesn't bother me so much now. But yeah, I look back at some of that stuff, and now I think that would scare me to death because with this, if you screw it up, it's not somebody's actual stuff. You know, it's just a blue line. You can always reprint it and have somebody else ink it, and the penciler has their copy. It takes a certain element of like, man, you got to have to do it the old-fashioned way, the way it was when I started inking. Where everything you do is just with like quill and brush, and maybe a little rapidograph here. Microns are coming off the paper if you try and erase, and you don't want to go back and retouch every damn thing. So those don't work. And half the time, the rapidographs don't want to work right. So they're all clogged and being a pain in the ass. So basically, you were left with a lot of crow quill and brush. But there was an element of balls that you had to have to do it with that, you know? Hey, like this is a Jim Lee piece. And whatever the way you ink it is going to be the way that it's inked forever. Oh, you're new here? Good luck. All right, see ya. Yeah, I was stupid enough to ask for it, and Jim just threw me one to see if I could handle it. Like I said, I don't think I did awful, but I guess he didn't either. A lot of pressure to that. Like not only the pressure of the penciler that you're inking, and they could get you thrown off the book. No, no, this isn't just that. This is your boss. This guy signs your paychecks. Yeah, he's the publisher. And rumors I have heard are that, like with any big name like that, you get on their bad side, you're blacklisted, man. You won't work. Yeah, pick this up again. You guys can see. A little closer. Get a good look at that stuff on the leg. It's bigger than I can see it. And actually, that looks like it's going to work pretty good. I am digging these new brushes big time. I was thinking about maybe starting an eBay store or something, doing some demonstrations here, and then maybe selling the pieces on eBay. I don't know. Never messed with all that before. I'm old and intimidated by things. Mostly death. Out of focus. What? Deviate number 6 has 5 different inkers, y'all. I always wonder how that works. How that works is something happens. That's usually one of those things where the penciler is very late and hasn't been feeding you pencils as they go for whatever reason, or the inker that's normal for the book is overcommitted for whatever reason, and then it just becomes an oh shit sort of situation. Because the reality is, uh, the way it was instituted because of things like the Pit number 2 and some other early image books that were extremely late, is they introduced returnability. And if you solicit these books and then don't deliver them to the market by a certain time period, then they become returnable by the retailer. Anything doesn't sell because like a bunch of people ordered the Pit number 2 based upon the heat of the Pit number 1 and everybody the buzz talking about it, and then Del Keown took like 10 months or something to to get issue 2 out. And by that time, for the comic book retailer, everybody's like, oh, everybody gave a shit a year ago, but now mm, they came back looking for it over and over. It wasn't here. Yeah. So because of that, they put in returnability dates, and they would absolutely avoid those like the plague. Um, when they're publishing these books. So if it came down to the wire on something like that, they would absolutely pull an all hands on deck. That's another way you get to ink artists that you don't normally get to ink. Like the one time that I got to ink Humberto Ramos was in that was it DV8 6 number 6? I forget what issue it was, but I did ink a couple pages of Humberto Ramos. And I was like, oh hey, cool. Another little feather in the cap. Number 6. Yeah, I'm sure that was an all hands on deck sort of situation where they just like, all right, there's 5 or 6 inkers here in the studio, and that was fine too because the inkers that you're probably looking at mostly in that are inkers that work there in the studio, which means they were exclusive with Wildstorm and couldn't go seeking work other places. So if you were going to get work, you were going to get it from Wildstorm. That was your bread and butter, and they would, because of that, they would come to you first with those things like that. Now they did do some freelance outsourcing to people too, but generally in-house guys would get dibs, first pick on things like that. At least at one time. Hey, Dan Goodwin, what's going on? I am inking some Brett Booth, doing the pit here. And we were chit chatting about days of yore. Mm. Hmm. Sorry, I'm not being the most chatty thing in the world. Tried to see this thing. My username on Kara at I don't know. I don't know. I'm not looking for. I'll put it in the description when I post this. That's a left brain function, and I am in right brain mode, my friend. You may as well be asking me to walk and chew gum. I think it's similar to my email. I think Gibson Chuck 68 or 1968 or Chuck Gibson 1968. Some I don't know. I don't know, something like that. You could be right, Dan. It could be the same as my Insta. I know. I don't mess with it as much as I probably should. But that is where I'm putting scans of finished pieces up. You know, I want to do it here on YouTube, but it's not the highest resolution in the world. You see it a little better over there. I'll probably post it on Instagram too, just because everybody does, right? And the robots are coming to get us either way. I don't want to feed them, but I know I can't beat them. There you go. See, you found it. Yeah. See, still need to post some stuff over there. I want to post the color version of Masters End over there. I still keep pulling that out and looking at it. Very, very, very happy with the way the tones reproduced and stuff. I'm like, oh, cool. That's exactly what I wanted, and now I know how to get exactly what I'm looking for out of that. Which a lot of that's techniques that if you're doing a color book, it would be too much sometimes. You know, if you don't have the right colors, they might not know what to do with that. But in a black and white book, you know, it's all about the line. It's all about the line of the black. So And looks like I'm going to be winding up the stream for the day. People are back from church. And it's time to go make breakfast. See, here's the dog to let me know. It's on my run. So, anyway, give you guys a look and see where I'm at. Like I said, I will be posting this. I'll let y'all know where. I might do a couple more lives depending upon how things go. Not sure when though. It's been a little while since I set this up, but wasn't that hard to get it going. So anyway, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.